in my group, I was the only one that was singing, except for the friends said in the wagon, in the wagon, in the wagon, and everybody was just supposed to sing as a giant group.
And sometimes that happens because we're not all meant to get up and do that kind of stuff. We get kind of scared, but they got out of their comfort zone, and I was very proud of all of you for getting out of your comfort zone and actually getting up here and performing, especially in front of Mr. Martin, because I know that's scary, and I know some people that's not really what you like to do, but every single one of you got up there and put forth an effort, and we were all of us were very proud of you all for putting forth the effort, and you all worked well on Tuesday and on Thursday, prepared for it. And me and Miss Hannah and I know that we probably should have given you all more time, so that's something that we know would have helped you all. But with what we had, I think you all did very well.
Well, I had a lot of
Great.
well, sometimes I didn't hear us writing, but I asked my teammates how to win, and they said they didn't go really well.
They said it didn't go well. Well, that's okay. I think everybody did good. Nobody's was horrible, but I think some people you could tell who was more prepared than others.
And can I just add
Yes.
just a little thing on there? Because also, I want you to think about it. How many days did they have during social studies to practice for that? Was it 2 days?
2 days.
2 days?
2, well, 3. I think 1 day with you.
I think they had 3 days. So that was really, I mean, probably a good 2.5 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours to practice that. So I think that I saw some teams that maybe use that time more wisely than others.
I agree.
So I also want you to think, I know they're doing some reflection, which is great, but I think we, as students, need to do some reflection too and think about whether your group stayed on task. Because I saw several groups that the one day that you were practicing with me that did not. So,
And this will prepare you for, you will have to work in groups and so much other stuff in school, outside of school. And so this will show you things that you maybe need to work on as an individual on how you can work better in a group. Yes, Jade.
I think my group did good because I think we used a lot of expression.
Well, I wasn't here for it, but I tried to ask my teammates that they said they did good, but I don't really know how a good description about it. And from what I know, they can't really give me a good description maybe about it.
That's okay. We're going to research more on our topics today, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on Lewis and Clark, and I'm just going to give you an overview, and then we have an activity that we're going to do later after we have a short mini lesson. So we have Lewis and Clark, and they're going to explore the Louisiana Purchase. And who was in charge? Can somebody tell me who was in charge during the Lewis and Clark expedition?
The third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson.
Very good. Yes. So our first president was George Washington, and he was, when we first got to the 13 colonies, he was our first president elected for our government. Our second president was John Adams from 1797 to 1801. And around 1801 and 1803 was when the expedition started to going west. And then we have Thomas Jefferson from 1801 to 1809. After winning presidency, Jefferson decided that he wanted to go west and see what was beyond the land that we had here. He knew and he heard about things that were going on in the West. He saw pictures that people had drawn that explained the land west. But all these pictures that he saw had nothing to drink. Had nothing, they'd never even been out west. They were just predictions. So he saw pictures and letters that people wrote about the land west, but nobody knew if it was true. So Lewis and Clark had a big journey ahead to figure out what was true and what wasn't true. The next thing is they started with the Louisiana Purchase, and the Louisiana Purchase was purchased by
Us for $50 million.
from
Napoleon.
Did we forget to raise our hands? Are we allowed to? I know we get so excited when we know the answer, but we have to raise our hand.
Brendan.
We bought it to Napoleon.
Napoleon, excellent. So our next one is we purchased it from Napoleon. How much do you all remember you purchased the land for? Chandler.
50 million.
50 million?
15,000.
15 million.
50 million.
Brandon, what do you?
No. It's 15 million, about 4 cents per acre.
There we go. Very good.
Does
4
anybody
cents per
know
acre.
why it was so cheap? 4 cents an acre.
Chris,
It was so cheap because I needed money for the war.
because they needed what?
Money for the war.
For the war?
What war was that, Chris?
It was the French and
For, in Europe, correct. So they sold it so cheap because they really needed that money for the war that was going on in the other countries. Okay, our next one. They began to travel west, and he put in charge. Who did he put in charge? Do you remember?
Even
Was Sacagawea a part of it? Yes.
Even in
Sadie.
is it pork?
Lewis and Clark. Can somebody tell me Lewis's first name? Do you remember Lewis's first name? Margot?
William? Oh my god.
Meriwether. Very good. And we learned that from our play. Does somebody remember what this group was called? Ben.
Thank you for calling on me. And the corpse of discovery.
Corpse of Discovery. Very good.
So we don't say it corpse. We say core. Like the Peace Corps is spelled that way too. So
and
it'd
like
be
the Marine Corps,
The Marine
that's
Corps.
also spelled that way. It's
Yeah.
C-O-R-P-S.
Yeah.
on the
Yes.
end.
C-O-R-P-S.
Yeah.
But you
So-
say core.
Right. Because if you say corpse, you might think of another meaning of a word. Can you think of what? See it change?
Zombies.
Deceased body. A deceased body. So this, when we see C-O-R-P-S, it's core, like Marine Corps, or a corps of engineers, or a corps, like a group of people. Corps of an apple. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Corpses.
All right, guys. Let's go to the next one.
Dead corpses.
What do you think the purpose? Just raise your hand if you think you know what the purpose is. Okay, we're gonna go through some of them. There's 3 purposes of why they sent Lewis and Clark out to go west. To investigate the land, they wanted to see what that land was really like. They saw pictures that people had drawn up, but they didn't exactly know if they were true because those people had never even visited the land. They wanted to create a catalog of plants and animals. So on their journey, Lewis and Clark had to prepare with pens, papers, documents that they could write in to catalog the plants and animals they saw on the way. Because there was so many animals that they thought were out there, but they didn't know if they were actually there. So they drew pictures. We didn't have cameras back then, so they actually drew the pictures in journals so that we knew what animals we had in the West and what that could bring, what opportunity that could bring for settlers that went. And to learn about the resources. Yes, Margaret.
Did Lewis and Clark go through the Cumberland Gap?
Through the what?
Cumberland Gap.
I don't think they did.
No,
They do not.
They didn't start that far
Was
east.
that
They were
before
more
they
toward
even
around
went-
Kentucky.
Yes,
and
they
this area.
went through Kentucky, and we will see the path, but they did not go through the Cumberland Gap. But we are going to be actually looking at the path they went through to get
So
to
hang
go
tight.
west. Okay.
What were they before?
This is the path that they discovered, and today we are going to be going to the computer lab and actually working with the journey that they took through the United States and through the Louisiana Purchase.
And looking at that map, can you raise your hand and tell me any geographical landforms that they might have encountered along this trip? Just looking at that map, what do you think?
Sam.
Oh, rivers.
Can you name one?